Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Ramachandra, Jai Shri Lakshmi Nrsimha. So now I shall talk about combustion. So everything about combustion will be given today. So planets get combusted in astrology and they give certain dangerous effects to the chart. And sometimes combustion is also good to an extent. So let us see some of these things, and I shall also clarify some doubts on combustion in this video, and all about combustion completely from every single scripture wherever we find the source will be explained today. This video is related to Vedic astrology and not to Western astrology, since Vedic astrology is the most accurate and perfect of all. So our ancient Vedic astrology is extremely scientific and perfect to the second of the arc, to arc of the second. So I'm going to explain the significance of combustion and how combustion works in order to destroy a particular indication of the chart or to enhance a particular indication of the chart. So everything about combustion will be explained today. And there are three types of negative connections which are very similar to combustion. Combustion is nothing but any planet getting too close to the sun to disappear. So basically ancient Vedic astronomers call this disappearance and they don't call it combustion. Combustion is rather a new word. The ancients used the word robbed and hell, and also this is a different type of wording, but the actual thing the ancient Vedic astronomers used was grahasta, means setting or disappearance. So it is not exactly burning like how we see today, like combustion. It is dimming, disappearance, or it going off blind for some time. So that's why the planet is not able to transmit its rays to the earth. The reason why astrology works is the planets have their own vibrations and radiations. Since they are very close to the earth, they have tremendous influence upon the earth. So sometimes the sun comes very close to them and they get eclipsed by the sun, and then combusted by the sun, not eclipsed, and then we don't get their radiation, whether benefic or malefic, and that gives the special effects to humans on earth. Combustion is rather a complicated topic and we should explain it completely today so that no one has doubts about combustion at all. And one of our clients actually requested me to make a video on combustion using his chart as an example, so it would be easier for people to understand. So let me explain how combustion does work. There are three types of negative connections: Tara Graha or planetary combustion, and lunar disappearance. Lunar disappearance is also a type of combustion. When the sun combusts, moon makes the moon disappear, like how we see it. The moon just disappears and becomes totally black circle or new moon. So that's because the sun and the moon have come to the same degree, and that's why moon is not seen to the earth, and this is called the Amavasya or the new moon day. And on this day, the earth is deprived of moon's benefic influence completely, and moon is not able to exert her benefic influence on the earth, and that is when many plants they get diseases like all of that, and also children who are born on this day, in exceptional cases they become very great people, but in other cases they generally have diseases throughout their life and have a weak body, or some of them who have bad yogas along with it, they also are not able to live for the next few years. So moon's influence on earth is very important, and some people are deprived of this influence, and that's why lunar disappearance is very dangerous. Next is not that dangerous for common people, but with other yogas together this can be dangerous, and that's why Maharshi Parashara has explained a vidhi to counteract the evil influence of the disappearance of the moon and create a benefic influence to counteract. So eclipses is a third type of negative connection, my dear friends. In modern world we count only the sun and moon getting eclipsed, solar and lunar eclipses. But ancient Varahamila has called eclipse as a word to define the connection to the degree by Rahu and Ketu with any planet. So Rahu and Ketu get a deep conjunction with any planet. That can be Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus and Saturn. If it is connected and the conjunction is to the very degree, minute and second, or maybe only the degree, it means that the particular planet is combusted. So this is applicable to any planet. And now this is also a negative connection, and I shall try explaining this in another video. So for now, today we will be viewing only planetary combustion, or it's called Tara Grahasta, and a little bit of lunar disappearance also. I shall also make a separate video completely on lunar motion, disappearance, and its valuable information that is very important to astronomers, astrologers and students. So the next thing is any planet. I'm going to define combustion now. Any planet getting too close to the sun so as to being completely invisible or partially invisible and getting into its own peculiar combustion belt. Every planet has its own combustion belt. So any planet getting too close to the sun so as to be completely invisible to the earth, to the naked eye, to the earth, is deemed to be combust. So this is how combustion can affect any person. And astronomical understanding of combustion is planet is not burnt. So combustion means getting burnt, but the planet is not burnt. It is dimmed from view. It's just dimmed from view, so we can't see the way it is seen normally. For example, a planet is seen like a small dot, a very bright and a beautiful dot in the sky. Not like a star. It is not flickering, but static dots. And sometimes due to certain disruptions, it becomes a little bit flickering. That it's distinguishable from a star. So it's actually distinguishable from a star. So that's why we call it a planet, a small dot. And next, the planet is dimmed from view, and also the sun has made it totally impossible for it to transmit its waves into the earth, and it's not able to set its powerful transmission of waves to the earth, and therefore it is very difficult for the human beings to take their benefic or malefic influences, and they become nil in strength. This is the definition of combustion. And now I shall explain how the belts of each planet can afflict. So what does combustion do to a planet? Basically bring its strength to nil because its waves are not able to come to the earth. A planet's strength is different from the strength we're talking about here. Shad Bala means 6 different types of strength. Combustion is one type of very important strength, that if it is happening, if a planet is deeply combust, all the 6 types of strengths, they become 0. It becomes nil. So combustion is a very important strength. And next I shall explain the different combustion belts. So for Mars, the combustion belt is 17 degrees. It is quite a sensitive planet. For Mercury, the combustion belt is 14 degrees, back and front. Abhigya, can you please show this? So here is the sun. So sun, in case sun is at a particular point, 17 degrees behind it and 17 degrees forward, front, that is totally 34 degrees in the belt of sun's motion is a combust motion. So anywhere touching near this is deemed combust, and gradually as the planet is coming towards the sun, like this, it becomes more and more severe. The combustion is more severe. And when the planet gets a deep conjunction with the sun, it becomes 0 or nil. When the difference between the sun's longitude and the planet's longitude is 0, it means that the planet's strength is 0. When it is 180 degrees, it means the planet's strength is 100%. Like this, the calculation is presented as follows. So we'll have to take the 70 degrees or 34 degrees and proportionately calculate it to the percentage of the planet's strength, and that will bring the total combustion value or the total we call this appearance value of the planet, total wave transmission wave value of the planet. And in the same way, Mercury, can you please show this? Mercury has 14 degrees of its combustion belt. So if it is coming anywhere close to the sun, 14 degrees, it is combust. This happens almost every time because Mercury is always with the sun. And 14 degrees that side. So totally it is 28 degrees. And when it is in retrograde motion, Mercury is 12 degrees. So why does a planet have a lesser combustion belt when it is retrograde? Because the planet moves backward and forward, and therefore the calculations differ, and that is why the planet's motion is reduced to 12, the planet's combustion belt is reduced to 12 degrees. For example, Mercury. Jupiter is having 11 degrees of its combustion belt, but in retrograde also it's the same, 11 degrees. And as and when it comes near to the sun, it becomes 0, and as and when it goes away from the sun, its strength increases. As and when it comes towards the sun, its strength decreases, and as and when it comes away from the sun, its strength increases, like the debilitation points. Our learned viewers would have learnt about the Uchabhilashi and the Nichabhilashi in astrology. The same theories apply here also. Venus is the next planet we are going to see, and 10 degrees is the combustion belt for Venus. And if it touches the belt anywhere near the point, it is known as combusted. But again, there are a few exceptions for Venus. Some people also say that Venus does not get affected by combustion in any way. I shall explain why also. Saturn is another planet which has a 16-degree combustion value, but people also say that Saturn does not get affected by combustion in any way, and I shall explain why now. Can you please move back up there? Why do Saturn and Venus do not get affected by combustion at all? Why is it like that? Because Saturn and Venus, starting with Venus is such a bright planet, brightest of all when seen to the Earth, that it shines like a huge star at night and can be seen almost, around 280 or 270 days of the year. Except when it's combust, it can be seen for the rest of the time. And it's also so beautiful and such an amazing star. It's very bright, white in color, and it's gleaming and very beautiful. So that's why it is generally having a lot of strength relating to transmission of waves, and therefore it will surely not lose its value when it is combusted, because it regains it very fast. Moment it is released out of the combustion belt, it takes it just 1 or 2 days to be again seen as a beautiful shining star. So that's why Venus is not regarded as combust most of the time. But still Venus does get affected. We can't say it doesn't get affected completely. It does get affected. We have to see other points of Shadbala also to get to the conclusion. And Saturn, why does Saturn not get affected? Saturn is the farthermost planet from Earth. If we don't consider Uranus, Neptune and Pluto, Saturn is the farthermost planet from the Earth. And also from the Sun, of course. So the Sun cannot obstruct Saturn's waves. And the second reason for this age-old tradition of not considering Venus and Saturn is that Saturn has a different wavelength of its waves, and that's a very peculiar and powerful wavelength. It has the blue color and dark blue color waves, and that keeps reflecting on the Earth continuously, irrespective of combustion. So that's why Saturn is not basically that much considered for combustion, though yes, we still have to consider other Shadbala points, and Saturn does get afflicted a little bit, just like Venus. But this is why both the planets are not given complete combustion affliction, and they are still given the, they don't get affected much. So now let's see what the ancient sages say about combustion. Mantreshwara in his Phaladipika says Grahaste Vikalaha or he says Vikalostayatah in his Phaladipika. He says exactly the wordings are Vikalostayatah means Vikalaha astayate means the planet is devoid of its rays when it is set. So Vikalaha is the word given. In feminine gender it is Vikala. Kala means the rays and Vikala means tortured or ill-defined rays, which happens to a planet when it is dimmed from appearance. So that is what happens to a planet. And next Vikalastu Shunyaha is also given in the same scriptures. Varahamira in his Daivagnya Vallabha calls it Mushitaha. Mushitaha meaning robbed. So robbed of its rays, and that is what is shown. So what happens when a planet is combust? That's the question. 100% bad or 100% nil effects. This is what happens to a planet. And also loss of wealth is shown. And whatever the Shadbala value is, it comes down to zero. And yes, there are exceptions for that also. Now we shall consider the next technical aspect of the combustion. There are three types of combustion, three basic types we can see. So to make it clear, I've devised a method to make it clear for students to easily understand and grasp this. There are three methods of three basic types of combustion: just combust, half combust, and deep combust. So just combust is around half degree, that is 30 minutes, and 1 degree, that is 60 minutes, and 1.5 degree, that is 90 minutes, and 2 degrees, 120 minutes into the combustion belt. This is very less into the combustion belt, somewhere near like this. Just a little bit into the first or half degree like this at this point. Half combust is, it has to be proportionately calculated to the combustion belt size. So if the combustion belt size is this much and we are saying that the planet is somewhere here, we say it is half combust, and that has to be calculated separately and peculiarly proportionately to that planet's combustion belt. That will be different for each planet. It will be different for Mercury, it will be different for Jupiter, different for Venus, and different for Saturn, because the combustion belts are different. Deep combust is any planet entering into the same degree of the Sun. And this is very dangerous, and this needs to be taken of care, because most of the time any one planet is generally 80-70% of the cases, many planets are combust, or at least one is combust in each chart. So we have to take complete concern of the combustion only when the planet is very near to the combustion belt, very near to the Sun's position, the degree. And that's when it becomes very important to consider combustion. Even signs do get tormented and very much vitiated by the Sun's position, because a sign that the Sun has just left is called Urdhvamukha, a happy sign. It feels, yes, oh thanks God, the Sun has left my place. And when the Sun reaches the sign, the next sign is tormented and it becomes Adhomukha, its face goes down. And Tiryangmukha is a sign that is just looking at the Sun very scared. So even signs do get combust, constellations do get combust with the Suns entering them. And now I shall explain, So now I shall explain with a reference to the chart I am going to quote now. Here, the birth date and time has been given here, which can also be seen. And along with that, the ascendant Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, Rahu and Ketu can all be seen here with the degrees, minutes, seconds, etc. And the signs, the nakshatras and the padas, everything can be seen here. And each one of the planets also can be seen here exactly with their particular positions. And now I shall explain. Here we have Mercury and Saturn and Sun. So it's basically focused at this point.
Bhaiya, can you tell us properly in the Venus?
Sorry?
The calculations of the Venus?
Yeah, it is 26 degrees, 55 minutes, 11.04 seconds.
Okay.
Yes. So thank you, Abhigya, because it was not very clear. So the next thing is that we are going to see the positions of the planets here, and it is very clear to the esteemed viewers who have learned astrology and read it clearly, that the chart is having a severe problem with finance. It is clearly visible at the first look. When we look at the Navamsha, the same thing is seen. How is the question? We see that the second lord, this is Mandi actually, Mandi and Gurika have a little bit of confusion, but anyways, the second house lord is Saturn over here, and Saturn is combust in the 11th house. So the first look, an astrologer who has not studied about combustion would just say, oh yes, the person is quite rich because 3 malefic planets sitting in the 11th house, and the second lord is in the 11th, that's a great Dhana Yoga. No, it's combust. Saturn is combust. So in reality, the person has a lot of troubles with finance. And in the same way, the next thing we're going to see is Mercury is the lord of the 7th, and the 10th house is deeply combust in the 11th house. So this is also a big danger for profession and for monetary value. Everything goes in doldrums. And the 12th house lord, the person is in big debts because of this. The 12th house lord is Mars, and it is present in the 9th house. And the 9th house lord is the combustor in the 11th house, who is also dangerously, it is in deep debilitation. The sun is itself in deep debilitation. So a total chaos is presented in this horoscope.
Kaya, this one in Rahu, is this 21 or
27.
Okay.
So, so the total chart is in doldrums and in deeper problems, and therefore we will have to consider this again. And along with this, we can see how powerfully the Mercury and Saturn combustion has changed the scope of the horoscope. And the Lagna Lord is in the 12th house. That means the person's whole life is inclined towards debts. And there is also a mild Kala Sarpa Yoga because the Lagna is out of it. But yes, there is a Kala Sarpa Yoga, a mild one. So that therefore this horoscope has to be very careful of monetary problems. And because Mercury is combust, the person doesn't have that controlling attribute. It has to be brought in by mantras and gems, etc. So an advice of Vishnu Sahasranama, etc., it's called stotras, would bring the value of control. So for gambling or anything, if the person has a liking for gambling or an urge to gamble, it will be controlled if one thinks about God at the same time. So Saturn is another planet that gives wisdom, but both of these would be 0 in value when the person is having this particular yoga in the 11th house. So this is what I see from this horoscope, and this is what is supposed to be seen also. And Swati Nakshatra is the nakshatra involved in the combustion of the 2 planets, and that is the nakshatra where the sun gets debilitated. So the sun is the lord of the 9th house, and the person loses all his fortune because the 9th house lord is totally debilitated in the 11th house. Unless we see combustion and debilitation and exaltation, we can't bring a complete conclusion of any horoscope, be it however. So we can't just say something for everything. So combustion is good sometimes. We're going to come to the next topic now. So can you please move it back up there?
Yes, just 1 minute.
Combustion is good sometimes. This is what I'm trying to explain now. So the 6th lord is combust and the Lagna lord is strong. What does this mean? Most of the time, generally, it means that the individual is able to destroy his enemies. How? Because the 6th lord is combust. 6th house represents enemies, and the 6th lord is the lord of the enemies. So in case the ascendant lord that represents the person is powerful, strong and in good yogas only, without the presence of general malefic aspects, and the 6th lord is having all of this stuff, then the Lagna lord would overpower, and for sure the enemies would be destroyed, and health and longevity would be conferred upon the native. So wealth will also be gained in this yoga. But sometimes due to combustion, there are 2 different reactions that a planet gets because of combustion. One is total gain strength, and the other is expansion of malefic strength. Sometimes that happens. To malefic planets who have power like Saturn, etc., the malefic planets become over-blasting in power and can cause more harm to the native, and this should be counteracted with perfect remedial measures. I should explain the perfect way to deal with combustion. So the next thing is careful examination will sometimes, however, show that the planet is dangerous. Combustion is very bad when the 8th lord, the 1st lord, the 2nd lord, the 3rd lord, the 4th lord, 7th, 10th and 11th, 5th house lords are burnt. So when these lords are burnt, the combustion is a very, very bad yoga. This really is seen in most of the horoscopes I have examined. In so many horoscopes I have seen this, that the 8th, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 7th, 10th, 11th, 5th house lords are really important to consider, and when the person has not yet reached the dasha of the combustion, also when they have no clue about it, or when they even have a slight clue about it, they must be told about this before they get problems. So it is very important for people to understand that these lords are the main lords for the whole horoscope, and including others, but this is very dangerous. In case these lords are combust, it's dangerous. So you can open your horoscopes right now and look at them, and you will find out that those areas are quite weak in your lives, and you should try to change it immediately. The 12th house lord, if combust, gives loss of sleep, miserly nature, low expense or high expense. It can be both the ways. And now I shall show
Can you tell exactly what's the meaning of low expense and high expense?
So low expense and high expense means the person would expend a lot or expend very little depending on the conjunctions, position, aspect and conjunction. So that would change depending on the yogas. So now I shall explain the next thing. Combustion cannot rule out a horoscope, though one has to be extra careful when the 1st lord is combust. So when the Lagna lord is combust, we have to be extra careful and very careful, because the combustion would be surely dangerous for the native. But when the combustion is very less, to the first, what I said now, just combust. When it is in the just combust section, one need not be so much into it, but can also give a remedy for it. That will be important. The next thing is various yogas have to be considered before coming to a conclusion on combustion. Totally, position, aspect and conjunction. These 3 things have to be entirely examined before we consider this. And combustion destroys the strength of a planet. In our example, Mercury and Saturn have lost strength completely. Mercury loses more than 99% of its strength. As seen here, 7 by 60, 7 minutes is the only gap between Sun and Mercury, and that's so less, and that is basically deep combust. In the same degree of the Sun, but with a 7-minute gap, 7/60th of a degree gap. So now I shall show you what that can do. Mercury is the lord of the 7th and 10th from this Lagna, and Saturn is the lord of 2nd and 3rd from this Lagna, and they are combust in Libra, and Sun is debilitated 2 degrees away from DD, deep debilitation, and Sun is the lord of the 9th. So all these important bhavas are badly afflicted in the horoscope. One gains money and loses the same, like how fire burns when only fuel is there, when only grass is there. So the native gets money and burns it all. Gets money and burns it all. What happened? So one gains money and loses the same at the same speed. Just like how fire just burns off grass only when it's there. So that's how the horoscope has depicted the same yoga, and the results have also been seen to be the same. And now I shall explain the next thing. 3 golden rules to assessing combustion. 1. Site of combustion, research. So the Rashi and Nakshatra where the combustion is going on. 2nd, the Varga. 3rd, the combustion belt. These are 3 things that are supposed to be seen clearly. What I mean by Rashi and Nakshatra is, for example, in this, the Rashi is Libra. Libra is the Rashi of trade and commerce. and the sun is debilitated. Sun shows the self-control and atma and the dharmic righteousness. So that is all debilitated. So the person is okay to indulge in acts that will, deplete his financial resources like gambling, etc. And the nakshatra is Swati nakshatra, which is Rahu's nakshatra. Rahu is the planet of gambling. And Varga, so now when we see the Varga of this, we can see D9, it is in Capricorn, and Shani is the lord of the second house. So the Libra combustion has gone to Capricorn, and Saturn has gone with Ketu to Aquarius. So this is happening from the Lagna, second and third homes, which is exactly being implicated right in the birth horoscope. And the combustion belt which we're talking about is basically just 1 degree and 2 degrees. The difference is in one degree and the other just 7 minutes. So this is where the sign of combustion is very important. I have many more horoscopes in my experience to explain this ideology, and I shall try showing these separately in my future videos. And along with these, the combustion belt has to also be seen. So one has to be very careful. Is it deep combust or just combust or half combust? And next, the planet that is combust, the second golden rule. 3 things are supposed to be seen in the second golden rule. The planet that is combust. The planet, which house does it rule? In case it rules ascendant, it's very important, and the person needs to be very important and needs to see that most importantly. So in my experience, another horoscope was brought, and in that horoscope, the lord of the Lagna was deeply combust in the 7th house with the sun, and that was Mercury. So that was causing neurological damage, etc. So this is why I feel that planet is combust. The planet that is combust needs to be given main attention. Its lordship, and it's Shad-bala and Bhava-bala. That means the Bhava and its Bala, that is different. But the Shad-bala of the planet has to be properly analyzed before we come to conclusion about that particular planet. In case it's combust and it has a good Shad-bala, Shad-bala comes secondary and combustion comes first, of course. But still Shad-bala plays a good role in setting it right in case the Shad-bala is quite big. And secondly, thirdly, the associate planets and the position, aspect and conjunction. In case the moon is bright at the time of birth and the combustion is occurring at the same time, and full moon is aspecting the combustion. Of course, moon can't aspect the conjunction without being full or just a day before full or a day after full. So this is why I am explaining this very important concept. And along with that, the position, aspect and conjunction of the planet that is combusted has to be seen. This is very important. The position, aspect and conjunction. So any planet being conjunct at the same time in the same sign but not combust. The second planet that is very important to the first planet should not be combust. So for example, Mars is totally combust and it needs help from Jupiter. Jupiter should not be combust in the same sign with the Sun. Or the second thing that can help out with this combustion is an associate planet that is good for this particular planet aspecting this planet. So in case in this chart, which is not present here, in case Mercury was aided by a full moon, there is no full moon here, and moon is got the 8th house, which is a bad combination. There is no full moon here, but in case there was a full moon aspecting this, it would have been good for both these planets, both Mercury and Saturn. Saturn does not get affected more here, but as we have seen and experienced now, so experience is number 1, and then comes whatever people say. So Venus is basically exempt from combustion according to some, and Saturn also, but this example proves that the second lord is combust in the 11th house. If it was not combust and Saturn would have not given those effects, then the person would have lost so much wealth. So that means Saturn also suffers from combustion. So it will happen. And in case the statement that Saturn does not get affected by combustion was true, then this wouldn't have happened. And the next thing we're going to see is the third golden rule. Position in the combustion belt. Without assessing the position in the combustion belt, one cannot determine at all whether a planet is strong enough to bear the combustion or not. If it is too much into the combustion belt, it is dangerous for that particular planet. And now we're going to see about the Yogacaraka combustion. Yogacaraka is a very important planet for the whole horoscope. Yogacaraka, for most of you might know, is a planet which owns a Kendra and a Trikona at the same time. And if it is powerful, the person will surely become a great person in life, and if it's weak, it surely causes disasters to the person's life. And a weak Yogacaraka means a mediocre life without any good comforts, etc. And that again depends on the Shadbala of the planet. Weakness or strength depends on the Shadbala of the planet concerned. So I'll give an example here where for Cancer Lagna, Mars is the Yogacaraka, of course, owning the 4th and 9th homes, Kendra and Trikona. But the problem here is, in case Mars is debilitated, eclipsed by Rahu and Ketu and combusted and whatnot, so then what happens is Mars loses its whole energy to give good, and we'll have to give a lot of pariharas for Mars to come up. And I shall explain these pariharas also. So Yogacaraka being combust is a major problem, and one needs to immediately set it right with some measure, but it has to be set right. And checking important Vargas. So some Vargas have to be checked very importantly. Abhigya, don't check the camera. So they are like Navamsha and Dashamsha. In case the person is worried about his his job or his occupation, or somebody is worried about their wealth, Hoda or Dashamsha, Shodashamsha, etc. can be seen to know about that deeply. And the nakshatra of the combustion. Is the nakshatra of the combustion friendly or not? So here we have Rahu. Rahu is a planet that is not friendly to anybody except maybe Saturn sometimes, but Rahu and Ketu are cheating type of planets. They are just shadows. So they are not anybody's friend in the whole planetary cabinet. So not even Saturn's friend, if you see it that way. So this nakshatra of Swati is not friendly. So there we got a cross mark. And the next thing is Navamsha is own Navamsha or benefic Navamsha. So in case it's own or benefic, it's good. In case it's malefic and evil, and it is the Shatrus or enemies Navamsha, we know that it's again another cross mark. These are all just associate factors. And is it Vargotama or is it in a good Varga? In case it's Vargotama, yes, it's in the right place. Even if it's a malefic Varga, it gives strength to the planet, but still combustion is way stronger. So in case everything is fine and the planet is combust, then we can see yes, the planet is not severely combust. But deep combustion means it surely needs a remedy, and whether however it is combust, we need a remedy for a combust planet. It is absolutely necessary and important for a person to surely get a remedy for it, which I should explain now.
Bhaiya, but you said that in some places combustion is good.
Yes, I have already explained that. 6th lord being combust, and if the 6th lord is combust, it is the whole chart for the enemies. It is bad for the enemies of the person, and the Lagna lord is combust, it's bad for the person. So in case the 6th lord is combust and the 6th lord is enemies and diseases, etc., and the Lagna lord is the own person. So if the 6th lord is combust, it means, of course, you destroy your enemies and you live a healthy and wealthy life. So that's when combustion is good, but otherwise it's not good. And even at that time, in case there is malefic aspect and eclipse, the combust 6th lord can be more dangerous for the horoscope. And now next we shall see Moon the savior. So is Moon really a savior? The planets gain a lot of strength from luminaries, because when they pass their rays into the earth, they intersect the rays of the moon and the sun interchangeably. So sun is more stronger than the moon, so sun has a bigger say, but the moon sometimes has something to do there, better than the other planets, because moon is our earth's satellite, and she helps in intercepting the rays, and she controls a lot of rays because she's the closest body to the earth. And now I shall explain how the moon is a very important savior for the whole horoscope. full moon or a rising moon or Shukla Paksha moon aspecting or in some way connecting to that place would be a good cool relief for the hot planet who's getting combusted. So especially full moon aspecting the combustion is one of the best things that could ever be done. And now I shall show you how the heat gets reduced. Similarly, cold planets like Jupiter and Venus, etc., giving their cold towards that planet who is, boiling hot can be good for it. And in medical astrology, combustion is a very important topic because in case the planet is combust completely, in medical astrology it is an imbalance of the Pitta dosha generally. It can be of many other doshas depending on the planetary type involved, but the Pitta dosha is the main dosha since combustion is heat and Sun, a Pitta planet, is involved. And the Rashi and the planet that is being combusted also needs to be seen. The combusted planet's dosha, dhatu and every single indication is brought down. For example, Vata, Pitta and Kapha. In this Mercury, for example, Jupiter is combust. Jupiter is the planet of heaviness, and the person would be quite very thin because the fat tissue would be badly depleted in the body. The person would not have much fat tissue to stay fine. So all of these things would happen for a Jupiter combust type. And along with that, Pitta dosha would be high, and Vata dosha has to be determined from other factors. And next thing is, for example, Mercury and Saturn in our condition, the intellect of this person is not controlled. That's what we can say. And along with that, the person thinks of other ways to gain money rather than the right way. Because the second lord is associated with the 11th in association with Saturn, in association with Libra, in Swati Nakshatra, but combust. So, combustion out of the sun sign. What does this mean? So, a planet can be combust when it's even out of the sun sign. So, in case Sun is at the last degree of Pisces and almost at the last degree of Pisces, and Jupiter is at the first few degrees of Aries. Jupiter is combust, but in the next sign. Is it still combustion? Yes, it is. But the combustion effect is little bit reduced because a mud pot gets heated easily in its own medium, in the mud chilla we call it. So in the same way, a planet that is combust in its own in the sign where the sun is also posited, the same sign where the sun is, it gets easily burned off. Whereas if it's a little bit far away and in another sign, it is not very easy for it to get combust, but still the effect is the same, it is combusted. So now we shall see the next thing. How do planets gain strength when away from the sun? So Abhigya, can you please show this? So the sun, if a planet is 0 degrees difference with the sun, if a planet is at 0 degrees difference with the sun, completely having no other minutes difference, its strength is nil. And as it moves away from the sun 45 degrees, its strength increases proportionately, and 90 degrees it increases. I've just given the approximate values here. And when it's 180 degrees exactly, its strength is 100% exactly. And as it moves towards the sun again, its strength reduces. So as it is away from the sun, its strength increases, and towards the sun it decreases. In the same way as for the human body, according to Ayurveda in Ashtanga Hridayam, it is clearly explained that as and when the sun is in lesser strength and the temperature is lesser, the human strength increases. And as and when the sun moves away from the ayana, the solstice, summer solstice we call it like that. So as and when the sun becomes more powerful in Uttarayana, our human body strength decreases.
The northern solstice.
Northern solstice, yes. So Uttarayana, ayana bala is something we call in Shad Bala. So Shad Bala means 6 types of strength, and in that we have one of them is ayana bala. So Ayana Bala is of two types, Uttarayana and Dakshinayana. So Uttarayana is the northern solstice, Dakshinayana the southern solstice. So as the sun moves into the Uttarayana, our body strength badly decreases. And when it touches Grishma and the Varsha Ritu, it is almost nil. In the same way, planets, as they come closer to the sun, they get reduced, and as they go away from the sun, they increase. So this is also a very helpful factor to know exactly why combustion deteriorates the strength of planets so badly. Why is combustion so dangerous for a planet? This is very important to assess that. Now we should see what is lunar disappearance. So lunar disappearance is just Amavasya. That means 0 degrees difference between sun and moon. Actually, Amavasya occurs between 0 to 12 degrees difference between the sun and moon. Sun and moon have a particular longitude, and the difference is calculated as a tithi. Exactly 12 degrees difference constitutes one tithi, and I shall make a separate video which will be very clear in this topic, but this is a tip of the iceberg explanation for most of you. And this is basically Amavasya, and that is when the moon is devoid of complete strength. And moon strength is the same as shown here. As it moves away from the sun, the moon increases its strength, and as it moves towards the sun, it decreases. This strength is basically not the planet's own strength, but its strength to reflect rays upon the earth. That is what is calculated here. So this is all about combustion. I hope this video was it could provide enough information to deal with combustion effectively while examining horoscopes, and hope it was helpful for students. Thank you. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Lakshmi Narasimha.